Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. You know, it's your girl Queenie with the fun facts, with the fun help. Just, because I'm a fun individual. Yeah, see the lashes? The wing. But today we're going to talk about books and why I love reading and why you should read. It's that simple. So we're going to get into it by stating that I read probably every single day, minimum time of 15 minutes, because you don't gotta read that much, but I read daily. And the reason why I read daily is because every day you should strive to be better than the person that you was yesterday. So by reading, you open up your mind so much to new possibilities, to new things. So especially when you read fiction, and I'm gonna get into that, like what outweighs each other, reading fiction or non-fiction, and what I prefer. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're gonna start off with these two books. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Mason. I totally recommend this for anybody who feels like they just give too much fucks in the world. Like, for anybody who feels like they need to not care less, but not care so much about stuff that's not important. And this book really helps you understand, and it gives you like the raw facts, because it's not like other self-help books. It's more like of a wake-up call, in my opinion, because when I read it, it wasn't really telling me the answers that I was looking for. How in most self-help books, you specifically look for different stuff. Like, you look for an answer. Like, your mind is wanting to take notes, be engaged. And that's what differs from non-fiction and fiction. Because in fiction, you're basically reading just to get a story from somebody. It's like watching a movie. You don't come in there thinking about, oh, I gotta take notes, or it's not biased. Because when you read a self-help book, trust me, your mind is very biased because it's already thinking it knows what it knows. But when it comes to fiction, like stories, your brain doesn't know what's gonna happen. So of course it's gonna let the course run. It's gonna let your eyes see the story, and that's it. You're not gonna really have so much stress. That's why I would recommend, honestly, fiction books to start off with if you don't really read as much, and if you don't find interesting stuff, I guess, because reading is all about finding the most interesting stuff and reading what you like. It's not really about how much you can read, or if you read daily, or the goal is not to read more. The goal is to know what you're reading, understand it, but most likely enjoy what you're reading, because you're supposed to be reading for fun. It's not just to gain knowledge. That's just a bonus. And people forget that, like, reading has so many fundamental values. Like, you just open up your mind more. Like, your creativity all starts with what you read, because it's not a fantasy, but it's a fantasy in your own head. And once you understand that and you understand the benefits, I feel like you guys will read, because I didn't even like reading, no lie. Like, when I was in high school and middle school, it just straight gave textbook paragraphs, and I'm like, I don't like this, sir. And I just put this idea and belief in my head that I don't like reading. And girl, that's not even the case at all. I actually really enjoy reading. And one of my favorite things about reading is just the fact that, reading books that I don't know, it's just you don't know what's inside. It has so much knowledge, like The Art of Seduction. This right here will teach you seduction at its finest. Like, it's more of a lifestyle, like how to seduce. Seducing isn't only about sex, honestly, and people forget that it's actually about everything. Like, to be a seducer is to be a seducer, and there's different types of seducers too. So you gotta Nah, but that's not the point. And this type of book, I would say it's a self-help, but kind of a story, because they go into stories about how women were treated and how and why they came, you know, seducers, and how they live their lifestyle. But you're still reading to get information, you know? But the difference from that and The Alchemist is, this is a novel. This is strictly somebody's story. So you're not gonna look at this book and say, what can I get from it? Like, maybe you might, but what you're really gonna look at a novel and say is like, I want to know this person's story. Like, I want to know why they are the way they are, and what makes this story so unique, you know? What makes it to them, like, and how can not my life change, but you go in it with fresh pairs of eyes, like, never seen before. Like, I'm telling you, like, you're watching a movie. Because I know, I think about books that I've done read, and the way I think about it is like, wait, remember that scene when but mind you, hold on, girl, you read that. That was a book. Like, that wasn't a movie. But you see how your brain can recall books as movies, because that's the image that happens. It strikes up your creativity. So it's not like you're just reading something and nothing is popping up. You're creating images in your head. You're putting a story together to match them words, you know? We want to see visuals in our head after. And I just feel like it's so calming and soothing, especially when you're a loner or you're trying to grow and develop and become someone better, but you don't really know how to spend your time wisely. Some people might think that reading a bunch of books is like a waste of your time, but it's really not a waste of your time, especially if you read novels, because yes, self-help books are really useful, but they're very stressful for you to get into. That you ever wonder why you read a self-help book, but it's like you feel like it's just too much, that you gotta take all these notes, it's just too overwhelming for you, and then you don't pick up that book again. But the difference is, from a novel, is you pick up a novel, okay, you're reading it, you're not looking for, like, you know, an answer or something, you're trying to get that person's story, so you're engaged differently. It's literally that simple. You're engaged differently. And so when you engage into that person's story, you not only learn, but you understand their story, you learn, and you would see yourself in their shoes. That's the difference. It's kind of hard to put yourself in somebody's shoes when you're reading a self-help book, because it's not really, it's very straightforward, like, oh, do this, you need to get a certain way. But with a story, it's a story. It has parts, sequences, like you have the climax, all of that, you know, you gotta play all of that. It's like you're watching a movie. And why do you think when we watch certain movies or certain shows, we just start tearing up, like, oh my god, I can't believe he did that to her? Because we felt that, you know, we felt that in our heart. And it's okay. Like, reading gets you into your feelings, and that's perfectly fine. Like, and nobody's saying you gotta read a book a day like I do, or I don't read a book a day, that's too much, but read daily. Nobody says you have to do that. Try to strive, like, if you don't read at all, try to strive maybe for reading probably 15 pages throughout this week. I don't know. Just don't put so much pressure on yourself, because once you put your pressure on yourself, your brain, you have like 1 second, and your brain's gonna think of so many ways that it's gonna tell you not to do it, because one, it's causing you stress. So that's why you gotta make that decision real fast. And I feel like you guys will like it, even though people don't like reading because they feel like it's a lot of work. It's because you haven't read a book that really interests you. You keep trying to go into self-help or just these hard-ass books, you know? You can't start off like that, because when you're reading something that you barely know about and it's difficult for you to read, you're gonna get overwhelmed. I'm telling you, because it didn't happen to me. It's been times when I didn't look at books that I didn't even think I can read. I would read them for, like, you know, a couple of pages, but I'm like, yo, I gotta take all these notes, I gotta do all this. My mind is kind of feeling shitty because they didn't take the nerve about what I'm not doing correctly in my life. And I'm like, damn, I don't even want to read this shit no more. You feel me? But with a novel, it gives you a nice story and a lesson. Like, but it's not like the lesson is so direct. You have to literally put yourself in the author's shoes to like relive that moment like you were in that book. And then that's how you really learn. Like, I remember I read this book, The Doctor. I think it was probably the first novel I read. And man, it was about, I guess it was some girl who was dating this guy, whatever, but he wasn't treating her right. And so she dated the father because the father actually was showing some type of interest in her, showing her what she was basically missing. And it just had me thinking, like, the whole sequence of it about just her giving herself to somebody that wasn't willing to do what she needed. I just felt her, yo. Like, I literally felt like I was in her shoes. And it was like, it was such a great, because it helped me be more open about my sexuality, about me wanting what I want, my desires, all that. I felt more comfortable within, because sometimes we always think that our stories in our head are the worst or the weirdest until we start reading someone else's story. And it shows you like, wow, my imagination isn't really that crazy, you know? Because sometimes we think we have wild imaginations, but you might think you have a wild imagination until you pick up a book, a novel. It might change you like, damn, this is what people be reading. Like, shoot, I want to start a book club. And like, there's many different genres. Like, you could read romance, fantasy. Like, I like reading sexy books, you know, like stuff that's suspenseful, spice. Like, you know, The Doctor, it was literally, he was so seductive to her that she tapped into her inner desires. Like, she didn't even know she was gonna like certain stuff that she did. And it just shows like, yeah, reading is powerful. And I felt her, like, I feel like I was going through the experience with her. And I'm like, damn, this is deep. Shoot, let me read the next one. And I read this book called, I think it was The End Is Us, or It Ends With Us, yes, by Colleen something. But you guys know what I mean. I'm gonna put it in the description. And I want you guys to tell me if y'all read or anything, or if this actually probably changes your perspective of reading, or it's like, yeah, girl, you didn't change nothing, but shit. At least you know that I read, it's benefits of reading, and you could read stuff that you like. Like, there's so many books out there that can just fit your satisfied. Everybody has, you know, a little desire, the little, what's that word? Fetish, I guess. Some books that hook into the fetishes too, you know? And you'll be really surprised what world you might open up when you read a book, a nice novel, a self-help. And it makes you a better person too, because a better person. You're more empathetic. You're able to feel people more, literally, like, because you've been experiencing feeling characters as you read, so you've got equipped to that. And it really does help in your real world life, trust me. I feel like I'm a more lovey person, and sometimes in situations I can recall certain books I've read and I'm like, hold on, it's not what Cassie did. I'm not, I already see what my homegirl Cassie went through. I wouldn't go through that. And it really helps us. But yeah, that's why, you know, just a little rant, Queenie rant of why I love reading. And of course, I'm gonna share why I like doing something, because hey, maybe it might change somebody else's perspective, and maybe you may like to do this. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this actually makes you want to pick up a book. And if it don't, it's okay. I know I put it out there. Hope you like, subscribe, comment, and comment more topics you guys want me to talk about. I'm uploading very frequently. I answer all of my DMs. I answer questions. So just stay active, guys. Later.